Welcome to another edition of Islamic Finance Weekly, where we discuss key developments in the non-interest finance market. When talking about financial inclusion, we should look at women, the youth, rural communities, the northeast and northwest regions which are predominantly Muslims and financially excluded, and lastly, the micro enterprises that have low financial inclusion levels to compare to large businesses. The digital transformation and fintech is considered as a blue ocean for Islamic finance industry. This is because there is tremendous amount of opportunities available for Islamic finance institutions to embark on in order to achieve multiple strategic objectives such as financial inclusion, customer-oriented financial services, operational excellence, and competitiveness. Crowdfunding, peer-to-peer model payment platforms, smart contracts and blockchains, cryptocurrencies, cybersecurity, insurtech are among a few emerging channels of digital transformation that could be utilized in the Islamic finance industry. Today, we'll be looking at how Islamic fintech can deepen financial inclusion in Nigeria. And to do that, we have with us Mr. Abdulmajid Mohammed, co-founder Islamic Knowledge Foundation in Nigeria, and is also a volunteer at Al Huda Center of Islamic Banking and Economics in Pakistan. Mr. Abdulmajid joining us this afternoon from Malaysia. Good afternoon, Mr. Majid. Good to have you on the program.
Oh, thank you. Good afternoon. I'm grateful for having me here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. It will be interesting to talk about how Islamic finance has been touted as the key to bridging financial inclusion gaps. Can you share with us your perspective on how Islamic fintech can support Nigeria's quest for achieving financial inclusion, especially in northern region that is predominantly Muslim?
Oh, all right. Thank you. Let me start by saying Islamic finance is a fast booming segment of global finance. So it's serving a core population of about 2 billion Muslims worldwide. And not only that, a wider global ethical finance audience. So the role of Islamic finance is undeniable. So no one can deny that. So as it's growing in global significance, especially, so it relates to global social financing need. So likewise, the global fintech revolution is having a similar impact for Islamic finance through the evolution of an emerging Islamic fintech ecosystem. So before I continue, I would like to take some points. So for some people who do not know about fintech or about the financial inclusion, the first point is that, okay, what is financial technology that we call fintech? So fintech is an emerging concept that uses technology to disrupt the financial services, operation, business models, and customer engagement. Financial technology is just like a tool. So now, moving to the point 2, which is financial inclusion. What is financial inclusion? What does that mean? So financial inclusion, we can say it's a process that ensure the accessibility and availability and usage of formal financial services, which means that every member, everybody of the society, must participate in the economy and use the financial services at an affordable cost. So put line under that, at an affordable cost based on their need. So when we know that, we move to the point 3, that Nigeria, the financial inclusion in Nigeria. In 2012, if I'm not mistaken, the National Financial Inclusion Strategy, NFIS, they set target of 80% formal and informal financial inclusion, and another 70% formal financial inclusion to meet by 2020, which we are in now. But as at 2018, only 63.2 of Nigeria's 99.6 million adult population had access to financial service according to them, which means that there are still a lot of people left out of financial, which we can call financial inclusion. So moving from that, when we look about the fintech industry generally around the world, we will see that it is growing rapidly day by day. I mean, day after the other. In 2019, so fintech companies, they raised what is up to $135 billion across 2,693 deals globally for their innovation. So, with no doubt, certainly, fintech will play a vital role in promoting financial inclusion. But to what extent? I think that's the right question. To what extent can fintech play this role? Because when we are talking about financial technology, it as well has its own limit of which it can do. So even though the new technology can introduce powerful changes to people's life, many of those changes are incremental and compound over a time. More saving capacity, like lower borrowing cost, higher investment return, lower financial services. All these, the financial inclusion, the financial technology can do this. But to be really effective at driving financial inclusion, there are two things for financial technology to do. First one, the financial inclusion has to understand that the factors driving financial inclusion are often not themselves financial. So they have to know, they have to seek to better understand the factors that create financial pressure on their users. That is the first thing. So the second that can make them to achieve this role of promoting financial inclusion, maybe in Nigeria, it could be in the region that you just mentioned, or in Nigeria as a whole. So the fintech must partner with companies and organizations that addresses those root causes, like when they partner themselves with microfinance, partner themselves with zakat institution, with Wakaf institution, and so on, in order to address this issue. So when fintech seek a better understand to the factor that creates financial pressure on their user, when they do that, they should work to partner with organizations that can help them address those circumstances holistically. So I think for financial technology to achieve the role of promoting financial inclusion, they have to partner, to form a strategic partner. So to be like a strategic partnership with all these institutions like microfinance. Let me say after microfinance, okay, zakat institution, Wakaf institution, as I said. So if you look at it, we know that this is untold truth, that you see, financial technology, it cannot increase the minimum wage. We have to agree to that. It cannot reduce food desert. So it cannot retrain workers for new vocations, and it cannot minimize the cost of health care. Who can do that? Those who can do that are the institutions that know the root cause of this problem. Like I've said, okay, maybe microfinance, maybe healthcare. So if they partner themselves, like Islamic fintech in Nigeria, if they partner themselves with all these institutions, then they will come to realize the promotion of financial inclusion in Nigeria. So we need to understand the limit of fintech in order to pair good technology with good public policy. So I think that's all I have about that.
Absolutely, Mr. Majid. You know, fintech will play a critical role in deepening financial inclusion, and we need to deploy it effectively. I would like you to talk about the poverty and unemployment as prevalent challenges in Nigeria. Tell us, what products can Islamic fintech provide to support Nigerian households, MSMEs, and the entire populace?
As far as poverty and unemployment is concerned in Nigeria, I think it is at alarming point. You know, so when they name a country like they name it a poverty one, so it's quite serious. So now talking about financial technology, so maybe it can prevalent or this challenge of Nigerian when it comes to poverty and unemployment. So I think, fintech, it can increase, or let me say, it can reduce the poverty and the unemployment in Nigeria, but with the help of Islamic financial instruments. Not just that in that region you just mentioned, maybe in northern Nigeria, or no, in Nigeria as a whole. Islamic fintech would create...
The reason why I mentioned the northwest and northeast is that they are predominantly Muslims, which their religion did not allow them to take interest, and they are financially excluded, as we know in Nigeria.
Even when we are talking about the poverty, when we are talking about unemployment, I mean, it's increasing in their region more than another region in Nigeria. So I get your point. So I'm just saying that, this financial technology, it can achieve this all over the Nigeria. So Islamic fintech, it would create opportunity such as easy payment, remittance, P2P lending, crowdfunding, fundraising, and making prudent investment choice. So let us take for instance, so Islamic financial institution, it could collaborate with fintech to provide P2P crowdfunding that will still be Sharia compliant. So it's even easy to based on like mudaraba, musharaka, the concept that would allow them to decrease the default risk with the secure model of investment. So let us look from Islamic microfinance. If we look at Islamic microfinance that is Sharia compliant, they can be utilized to mitigate poverty or to reduce the unemployment in the country. Like the principal contracts on which this can be used include, let me say, Qardul Hassan, which would be akin to charity. Yeah, so they call it benevolent loan, so which would be akin to charity. So, and as well, Murabaha, which would require buying and selling a commodity at a markup or a profit as you want it. So another one is profit and risk sharing model, such as Mudaraba or Musharaka, that we call partnership, where the investor would be exposed to credit and market risk of the transaction along with the entrepreneur, way that it would be easy to trace, and the credibility of the borrowers could be easily accessed. So these are the key factors in being Sharia compliant. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Majid, for your perspective. All right, what are the current Sharia compliant fintech funds that can support the ecosystem and activities of Islamic crowdfunding?
Oh, thank you for that question. It's a very good question. So if we look into Islamic fintech currently, we see that Islamic fintech, it can pull the disadvantaged into social safety net, through like zakat fund, sadaqah, and wakaf. So we can use zakat tech, zakat technology. We can use wakaf technology fund. We can use sadaqah technology fund, even takaful technology. All these, we can use it to ensure that these people are able to fulfill their daily needs. So the aim is to, is to lift people from poverty to become self-sustaining, where they are able to save and invest. And finally, they can even become a contributor of zakat, sadaqah, and wakaf. If you look, you take for an example, for instance, you look into Akhwat in Pakistan. What they do is that they give people loan based on Qardul Hassan, which is benevolent loan. So after this, they educate people about this loan for them to know that you have to return it back. And on the long run, those who collect loan from them, they become someone who give out loan, because they utilize this Qardul Hassan. They utilize it very good. So eventually, they become a contributor. They become a contributor of zakat. They become a contributor of zadaqah, even wakaf. So I think if Islamic fintech can pull this, and they have what it takes to do that. So thank you.
Now, with the guidelines rolled out by the SEC Nigeria on crowdfunding, how would this attract investment into Nigeria for Islamic-based crowd funds?
Thank you. I think it's a very, very interesting topic because I think I've been working on the regulation or no regulation of Islamic crowdfunding, or let me say crowdfunding in Nigeria. So if you follow the trend in 2016, so the SEC, they came out then that they have no room for crowdfunding as at then. But early this year, I think March, maybe March 20 or something, I don't remember. So they came out with a draft regulation to regulate crowdfunding in Nigeria. Even though before they do that, we have a very, large number of crowdfunding platforms in Nigeria. If I'm not mistaken, it's getting to like 30 platforms, of which I personally, I did research on that. And even they are growing very well when it's come to crowd farming. So crowdfunding for farming or for agricultural activities. So, but at March in this year, they came out with regulation. So it put a significant strain on many startups and businesses in Nigeria. So again, you see, out of their regulation, they said that, okay, for any SME that want to make a campaign on crowdfunding in Nigeria, it must be been in this operation like for 2 years, which means so for any small and medium enterprises to go for crowdfunding in Nigeria, the SME must have established 2 years back. So this implies that even new startup cannot use crowdfunding in Nigeria. I don't think this is a good idea from my viewpoint. If you look at, let's take for instance, if you look at Malaysia, for example, startup can use crowdfunding to raise funds. So they set some limit of which you can raise, like so maybe 100 million. Some medium can raise up to 50 million. I understand where they are coming from. When we are talking about crowdfunding, one of their challenges is fraud and money laundering. So in order to prevent or to protect the investor from that, so they came up with that. But this regulation, it means a lot. If you look at it, it means that this startup will have to shut down. Like, let me cite you an example. You see, this crowd farming is doing very well to shut down, or they need to raise new capital, or to partner themselves with another company, which may not be very easy for them. So when you look into this regulation, so as I've said before, it is designed to protect investor, but at the same time, I don't think it will be very easy for investment in Nigeria to attract investor about this for this new regulation. I think, inshallah, maybe Nigeria can do maybe some. It's still under a draft, so it has not put into work really. But at least maybe before they do that, they can look into it again, so to change some things. So that's my opinion.
All right, Mr. Majid, you talk about the role of crowdfunding and the SEC regulations. So, in what way, let's cling on that, in what way do you think Nigeria can develop Islamic crowdfunding platform for startups companies?
Yeah, as at now, so I don't know, but based on my research, I think there has not been any Islamic crowdfunding platform in Nigeria. So I told you earlier that we have more than 30 platforms, so of which many of them are operating into farming. So we call them crowd farming. So, but if we have to develop Islamic crowdfunding platform in Nigeria for startup companies, so based on this regulation I've just mentioned, I think it will be very hard to go into using investment model of Islamic crowdfunding, because when you do, you have to raise 100 million for you to start. And then even the startup cannot come to you. And you mentioned for startup companies. So that means when you want to start selling something, or you want to start a company, the place, the crowdfunding, where you can go to crowdfund money. So that means, in order to do that, I think it will be good to use like Qardul Hassan, because Qardul Hassan, it has two characteristics. So it's combined between being a charity and being a loan. So it can be used. So we just placed it under non-profit crowdfunding, which means charity one. So if they do that, I think they will not need regulation, a stringent regulation that came out from SEC. So I personally think Qardul Hassan can work. Although I have some brother which they show me their projects that they are coming up with something Islamic fintech, and they are coming up with even some Islamic crowdfunding in Nigeria. So I think they base their Islamic crowdfunding on Qardul Hassan. So I think Qardul Hassan can work well for startup companies in Nigeria.
So how will you assess the Islamic fintech operations, especially crowdfunding in Nigeria? And what are the prospects for 2021?
Okay, what a good question. Generally, if you look at it, so I personally, I believe that fintech in Nigeria, fintech industry generally, they can tap the population that are yet to be financially included. So, and they will really do good, they will really do well. However, there is a great potential for Islamic fintech, so personally, specifically, to attain that in no time. If you look into it, Nigeria has some positive futures, which in place it can make it potentially to form an effective crowdfunding market in Africa as a whole. So these futures, like Nigeria has a large and a fast-growing population. So they have a widespread mobile user and internet. I will take it one by one and explain it. So they have a strong social media usage, and they have a great network of family and friends, and a thriving entrepreneurial prospect. So let's take from a fast-growing population, we know. So population now is getting more than 200 million, which makes us the most populous country in Africa. And in the whole world, we are in, if I'm not mistaken, maybe let me say number 4 or number, I don't know, I don't remember. But in Africa, we are the most populous country in Africa. So now coming to the widespread mobile user. In 2019, so Nigeria has 126 million internet users in Nigeria. So which I mean, it is 61.2 out of the whole Nigeria population, and that was rose from 92.7 million in 2015. So if we look at it, from 2015 to 2019, it rose from 92.7 to 126.8 million internet users. Although, if you compare this to some country in Africa like Kenya, we still have a long way to go. Like Kenya now, they have like 87% of internet user in their country. So, according to this data, it's reported that a population of 27 million Nigeria are using Facebook. And using crowdfunding, it's an internet something that has to use, it has to be with something like social media, maybe Facebook, Twitter, and all these things. So taking from that, I think crowdfunding in Nigeria and fintech, they have a great future, and their future is very bright. If you take, for instance, so during this unrealistic reality show, I'm sorry to call it that, so BBN Nigeria.
BB Nigeria.
BB Nigeria. I do follow the trend on Twitter. Look, then one of one of them was evicted from the house, and Nigerian, they raised millions of money for her in like 2 to 3 days.
Yes.
That is one. So which means the features I just mentioned, that we have a great network of family and friends. So another one, through this, during this last protest of NSAS, if you follow the trend very well, you will see that in the middle of that protest, they raised a lot of money. But which platform are they using? They're using GoFundMe, which is not indigenous platform. But what I want to take from this one is that we have a very great network of family and friends in Nigeria. They raise a lot of money, and even they use some platform for, the indigenous platform. We have one platform, they call it Come Fund Me. I think it is opposite of GoFundMe. Say, okay, don't go, just come fund me. So if you do that, so I think they use that platform to raise money. So with this, it's certain that Nigerian fintech industry generally, and Islamic fintech and crowdfunding, they have a bright future in Nigeria. And by 2021, I believe that Nigeria will have let me say, maybe more than 5 platforms for Islamic crowdfunding in Nigeria as a prospect, inshallah. So I think these are my view. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulrahman. Indeed, the crowdfunding and financial technology, which is known as fintech, will play a critical role to deepen the non-internet finance in Nigeria. Thank you very much for the enlightening conversation. We appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm very grateful you having me, inshallah. Maybe another time we'll meet again.
There is need to improve the channels for non-interest finance in the North. Agent banking, special models, traditional channels, digital products, and financial literacy in order to address the gaps. For youth, we need financial literacy, digital products, school reach-out programs, empowerment schemes in order to educate people and increase awareness on financial services and safety measures to take online. The Islamic finance industry in Nigeria has witnessed a modest growth. This is largely fueled by initiatives that strengthen regulation and promote financial inclusion. It is therefore imperative to develop a national strategy for the Islamic finance industry in Nigeria that can leverage fintech effectively. And that will be all for this edition. Log on to www.oceannd.com for more updates on Islamic finance. You can also follow us on our social media handles displaying on the screen. Thanks for watching. See you next time.